Have you ever stopped to think about what science really is? I mean, it's not just about lab coats and complicated formulas. At its heart, science is this grand adventure, a way of looking at the whole world with curiosity and wonder. And it all kicks off with the questions we ask. It starts with the absolute biggest questions we can possibly imagine. We look up at the night sky, see a galaxy just spilled out across the darkness, and we can't help but ask, why? What is actually going on up there? And that same sense of wonder, it applies right here on our own planet. We look at the ocean and think, what incredible secrets are hiding down there, way beneath the waves, in places the sun has never even touched.
Or maybe you see the sheer scale of a mountain range, just this colossal formation of rock and ice, and you have to wonder about the unbelievable power and the millions of years it took to create something like that.
And then we can bring it all the way down, from the massive to the microscopic. A single seed sprouting from the dirt. How does it know what to do? What even is this incredible thing we call life? So, all these questions, right? From the cosmic scale down to the tiny seed, they're all connected. They're all pieces of a giant, never-ending puzzle, and science, well, science is how we try to fit it all together.
Here's the most important part to get, though. Science isn't just a big pile of facts. It's an active process. It's a way of thinking, a way of observing, and a way of doing things. It's our toolkit for making sense of, well, everything.
I absolutely love this jigsaw puzzle analogy. Think about it. Every single discovery is just another piece we find and fit into the bigger picture. It's a huge group effort, with people building on what others have found just to see how it all connects. And get this, because this is a huge part of the process that so many people miss. Science isn't about being right all the time. Nope, it's about being willing to be wrong. Sometimes we find a new piece of info that proves an old piece was in the wrong spot. Moving it isn't a failure, it's a breakthrough. That's progress. Okay, so if science is this big adventure, how do we navigate it? Well, there's kind of like a secret map, a guide that helps us explore all these questions in a smart, structured way. And we call it the scientific method. It's a pretty simple 5-step process, but it is incredibly powerful. First, you notice something interesting. That observation leads you to ask a question. Then you take a guess, a good, educated guess about what the answer might be. Now, the most important part is next. You have to test your guess. And finally, you look at what happened and figure out if your guess was on the right track or not. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, this all sounds very formal, something that only happens in a lab. But what if I told you that you're already using this exact method probably every single day? No, I'm serious. Just think about the last time you had to solve some simple, everyday problem. You were totally being a scientist, and you probably didn't even realize it. For example, your pen just stops writing mid-sentence. That's your observation. You ask, why'd it stop? You guess, maybe it's out of ink. So you test it, you unscrew it, and check the little tube. See? Or how about this one? You're about to go for a bike ride and you notice your tire's flat. Observation. Question. Where's the leak? Guess. Maybe the valve is loose. So you test it. You tighten the valve and see if it holds air. It even happens in the kitchen. Your pot of dal boils over and makes a mess. Observation. Question. Why did that happen? Guess. I probably put too much water in. Your test? Next time, you add a little less water and see what happens. See what I mean? It doesn't matter if you're fixing a pen, a bike, or your dinner. You're following those same basic steps. You're observing, questioning, guessing, and testing. You are, in that moment, a scientist in action. So the very same logical thinking that helps us understand the stars is the one we use to figure out why our food spilled. And that's the absolute beauty of it. This way of thinking, it's universal. It works for the biggest questions and the smallest problems, and it's something every single one of us can do. The most important thing to take away from all this is that the journey of discovery, it never really ends. Science isn't some place you arrive at. It's the exciting, continuous process of asking why. And remember, it's not a solo mission. The greatest discoveries in history came from teams of people working together. You can do the same thing with your friends. Bouncing ideas around and trying to solve a puzzle together is always more fun, and honestly, you'll probably get better answers. So just keep that sense of wonder alive. Look around you. Our world is packed with amazing mysteries, just waiting for a curious mind to show up and start asking questions. There's always something new to explore. Ultimately, it all boils down to this really simple but powerful idea. The path to getting smarter, to being wise, is paved with questions. So be curious, keep wondering, and never, ever stop asking why.